yeah. So yeah, I tried to like observe, and the anxiety was not going away, but there was no thought behind it as well. So I
Describe what
don't.
anxiety is to you.
To me, it's like a discomfort that I feel, like in the chest area.
Okay, let's talk. Okay, so describe it more. Discomfort, that doesn't help me.
Uh, it's like fear, like the way we feel in fear.
Fear, okay. But what's that like?
It's like this kind of annoying, like kind of painful feeling that I don't want to feel. I used to
So
feel
okay, so
that.
I have one word here, gnawing, that might be useful. Okay, so discomfort, that doesn't help. Fear, that doesn't help. Painful, that doesn't help. But gnawing, that might be good. Where does it gnaw?
Sorry, I said annoying, not
Annoying,
gnawing.
annoying. Okay, that doesn't help. So I need
Yeah.
you to describe this thing for me, this thing you're calling anxiety.
It's like it's it's the same feeling I get when I am afraid to lose something.
So it's like the afraid of fear of loss. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. But it doesn't tell you any more about what you feel.
yeah,
That's
feeling
what you.
wise,
Everything so far is how you think about it and how you judge it, right?
yeah, feeling is basically just like this sensation in the body. Sensation is like like it's like that lines, like feeling of lines, like infinite kind of lines in the chest area, and
Mm-hmm.
each line is kind of little painful,
How
emotional,
big are the lines?
like very tiny lines,
And how many are there?
like infinite, like the number of hairs on my head.
Okay, and they run from where to where? Where do they go from, and where do they go to? These lines.
So they start from head, but intensity is very low up till neck, and
Mm-hmm.
then from the intensity aggravates, and it goes till the stomach,
Okay.
and
So
then it kind of stops at the stomach or the waist.
okay. So what do you feel in the stomach?
The same like this this kind of sensation, the same sensation I was feeling in the chest, the same in the stomach.
So you have infinite lines running vertically. Is that what you're saying in your stomach?
Yeah, it's like a mesh of lines,
Uh huh.
horizontally, vertically, all
And what are
crisscrossed.
the lines? Okay, so this is a visualization. Though, these lines, what are they made of in your mind?
What they are made of. Like I don't know what they are made of.
Okay, well, we have to find out, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
you're imagining something because you're struggling, understandably, to find the words, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of the words you used, most of them were judgments,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And what concerns me is that, like, let's say you were getting ready to play let's say you were a world class ping pong player,
Mm-hmm.
and you're about ready to go out and win the world championship. You might have those same feelings, but you would interpret them very differently. You'd say you were excited, that you were aroused, and you were ready to you were alert, aroused, ready to do something, right? But
So
but so
so
there's just I want to make a distinction here because it's very important between your thoughts and your feelings. Okay,
mhm.
and so what we need to do, this is what I would suggest. You can do it if you want or not, is to really study the somatic or the bodily concomitants, the somatic, and get down to the really detail to the details, right? And so you're going to have to look for times to get fearful. right? So, or anxious, so you could study this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to know more about this exactly, where it starts, where it goes, what's the nature of it, you know, as much detail, the texture, the temporal. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you know, things occur. Sometimes they throb, sometimes they pull. You know, I don't want to put any words in your mouth. But let's get down to that, right, and understand what that is, right, because that's very important, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but until we do that, we run into a lot of problems, because I'm not sure what you're exactly what you're referring to, because that's the kind of feelings people get before going to win a championship game in ping pong, let's say.
So I have felt excitement before as well. So I know the difference between the exciting feeling and the anxious feeling.
What's the difference?
So with excitement, there is a pleasure associated with it. Like I feel kind of excited and happy.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Let me tell you about some experiments we've done. All right, where we'll give someone a stimulant, and if we pre-prime their minds, right, with goody words like love, kindness, I don't know, compassion, empathy, they have a totally different response if we say, hey, there's a war, there's combat, there's aggression, there's danger. It's the same drug, but they have a completely different reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to separate how much of this is an overlay, right? So let's say you were getting on stage to talk. What would it be then?
It would feel the same.
As which one?
The way it felt in the morning, the anxiety.
Because I think that, I mean, my experience was that, yeah, you feel that, but then it converts once your thinking changes. And you told me yourself you had nothing to be afraid of, because this is a practice interview, right?
Yeah.
So these are perfect for studying, right? Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the job, is to know exactly what you mean when you say anxiety. And how do we differentiate it from excitement?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not at all clear. And we know that by suggestion we can change people's feelings about their somatic feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Sufi story, I'm sure you've read it, where they take, I don't know, I think it's like 100 people, maybe 50, and they put them all in a room, and then they pipe in the sound of a sound that's, and they say, this is the sound of a cat purring, and they ask, well, how many people like the sound and how many people dislike it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 49 out of 50, they like the cat purr.
Mm-hmm.
They like it a lot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then they do the same thing, and then they say the same sound exactly, but they say, oh, that's an old man snoring. And they take the same poll again. And what result do you think they get?
Like a mix.
No, but most everybody does not like the sound of snoring. But so to the exact same stimulus, they're having a completely different response. Some of them quite negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I mean by having to be a spy, an experimenter, a detective, a scientist, an explorer, you know, in your own body mind. But this is great stuff because you've got those things to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so let's